What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can automate a photography business using make.com. Let's get started. On Whimsical, I've outlined the processes in a photography business that we are going to automate. The first process is capturing leads via a type form and adding the leads to our project management tool, which in this case we're going to use Mandy.com. After the leads have filled in the form, we're going to send them an automated confirmation email. On the type form, we're also going to include Calendly so the leads can schedule an initial discovery call. After they have scheduled the discovery call and we've sent them a confirmation email, one day before the initial call, we're going to send them an email reminder reminding them of the call. After having the discovery call with the client, anything that you can help them, we're going to set up a client onboarding system that automatically sends a proposal and a contract to our client for them to sign. We're also going to automate the invoicing and the payment process, where we're going to set up an automatic invoicing system after the contract has been signed. We're also going to automate payment reminders for deposits or final payments. After automating the client onboarding process, the next process we're going to automate is the pre-shoot planning process. We're going to set up an automation that sends a pre-shoot questionnaire to our client via email. We're going to create the questionnaire via Typeform. On this automation, we're also going to ask our client to book a photography session via a Calendly link. This automation will be triggered after the contract is signed and the payment received. After automating the pre-shoot planning, the next process we're going to automate is the photography session reminders. After they have scheduled a photography session on our calendar, we are going to set up an automation that automatically reminds them of the photography session via email or SMS. After setting up the photography session reminder automation, the next process we're going to automate is the proofing and delivery process. We're going to set up an automation that automatically notifies the client when the gallery is ready. We're also going to send them follow-up emails to remind them to download their images or their ordered prints. The next process that we're going to automate is a client feedback and review process. Yeah, we're going to set up an automation that sends automated emails to our clients asking them for feedback and reviews via a survey form. After automating the client feedback and review process, the next process that we're going to automate is the referral program process. We're going to set up an automation that automatically sends emails to our clients with referral incentives. After automating the referral program process, the next process that we're going to automate is the upselling process. Here, we're going to set up an automation that automatically follows up with our clients via email, upselling them on prints, albums, or extra editing services within the online gallery. So these are the 8 processes that we are going to automate for our photography business. We're going to start by adding leads that we captured via Typeform to our project management tool, which in this case we're going to use Mandy.com. On Monday, I've created a workspace and renamed it to Photography Business. I've also created a board and named it Clients. So here is where we're going to add all the leads that we are capturing via Typeform. We are collecting their full name, the assignee, the created date, the status. On the status, we have intake, send proposal, send invoice, pre-shoot planning, session reminder, proofing and delivery, client feedback, referral program, and upselling as our status. We're also collecting their first name, last name, company name, email, and phone number. On Typeform, I've created a form and renamed it to Automating a Photography Business Form. Here is a welcome page where we are telling them in the next 1 minute we'll help you fill in your form. On the form, we are asking them to enter their personal information. So here's where we're collecting their first name, last name, phone number, email, and company they work in. We're also asking them to book an event using our calendar for an initial discovery call. Here's where they're going to pick a date on our calendar. For the date and time, they will be available for the call. After they've filled in their form, we're going to add their details right here on Monday by setting up an automation on make.com. So on Make, I've created a folder and renamed it to Photography Business Automation System. So here's where we're going to automate all the processes of a photography business. So to automate the collection of leads via Typeform and adding the leads to Monday, I'm going to click on Create a New Scenario. I've renamed it to Add Leads to Monday via Typeform. So here, I'll search for Typeform, then click on Typeform. our trigger is going to be watch response. So if you like to choose when to start, you can click on this one. If you like for the automation to trigger automatically, you can use the watch response trigger with the instant. But since we like to choose when to start, I'm going to use watch response acid. Here, you'll need to create a connection between make.com and Typeform. To do that, you just click on add, then click on save, and then it will prompt you with another tab to choose the account that you like to link on Make. But since I'd already created a connection, I'm going to close and choose my connection. So I'm going to choose 1 as our limit. And then here, I'll choose our form, which is automating a photography business form. And then I'll click on OK. I'll choose to start from now. You can also choose to start from a specific date or all, or choose to start manually. So I'll choose from now and then click on OK. Here, we can also list the responses. But before that, on tools, I'm going to select the sleep module where we can delay the listing of responses by 3 seconds. And here now we can list the responses from Typeform. Now, on list response, our form is still going to be automating a photography business form. Here, the limit, we're going to set it to 1. Then click on OK. On Typeform, I'll click on Share. Here, I'll copy the link to our form and paste it on a new tab. We can fill in our form so we can capture the responses via automation over here. So I'll click on Start and I'll fill in a client's personal information. You can say Joe. Here you can add their phone number and their email. And they work at Annex. Then click on OK. We'll be prompted to book an event for an initial discovery call. Here, we can select a date, then select the time. Now to schedule the event, I'm going to click on Schedule Event. And it says, thanks for filling in the form. You just received an email confirming your details, and our team will be in touch within 24 hours to follow up. Now, we go back to automation and run it. You'll see that we are capturing our clients' data over here. So we're getting their first name, last name, phone number, email, and the company they work in, and also the event they just scheduled on our calendar. Then we're delaying for 3 seconds and listing the responses over here. Their data right here, we're going to add it to Monday. So here, I'll add another module and then click on Monday. On Monday, I'll search for create an item module, then click on the module. Like we did previously with Typeform, you're going to also create a connection between Monday.com and Make. To do that, just click on Add, and then add your API key from Monday right here. Now to get your API key, on Monday, click on your profile to the right, then click on Administration. On Administration, click on Connection, then API to the top, and then you'll get your API token right here. So all you have to do is just copy it, then come and paste it right here. But since I had already created the connection, I'm going to close and choose my connection, which in this case is photography business connection. And then here, I will add the item name. The item name, I will choose to add the first and last name of our prospect or lead who just filled in our form. So here, I'll choose the first name and then space and choose the last name. For our board ID is going to be clients. So I'm going to choose clients. For our group ID is still going to be clients. And then here, we can choose the items, their values that we would like to add on Monday. So here, I'll click on add an item. Here, I'll choose assignee, and I'll just assign myself to this client. So I'll say person, then choose myself right here. Then we can add another item. The column ID is going to be company name. The value, now we can add the company name right here. Then we can add another item. This time around, we're going to choose the created date column. Then the value, we're going to add the submitted add date as a value. And then the next item we're going to add is the email. The value of the email, we're going to choose the email right here. We can also add the value of the email as a text. Click on add another item. And then for the column ID, we're going to choose first name. Here we're going to add the value for the first name, which we're going to choose Joe as the value for first name. Then click on add an item. For the column ID, we're going to choose the last name. Then we can add the value for the last name, which in this case is Hendrix. Then we can also add another item and choose phone as our column. Then here we can add the value for the phone, which is the phone number of our client right here. For the country code, we're going to use US as our country code. And then add another item. And then lastly, we're going to choose status as our column ID. We're going to choose a label. Then our label is going to be intake. And then click on OK. After adding our leads to Monday, we are going to send them a confirmation email. So I'll add a module and then search for email, then click on send an email module. I'll rename this email to confirmation email and then click on OK. For the email address, we're going to add the email address of our prospect. So this is the email address. And then the subject line will be in the lines of thank you for filling out our form. Then here the content could be in the lines of hi, first name. So here we're going to add their first name. And then say, we are thrilled to hear from you and appreciate your interest in Lux photography. Whether you're looking for wedding coverage, a portrait session, or event photography, we're here to help you capture your special moments with stunning visuals. We'll review your details and get back to you shortly with more information. In the meantime, feel free to reply to this email if you have any immediate questions. Looking forward to working with you, Brandon at Lux Photography. So this could be the confirmation email that we are sending to our clients after they have filled in the form. So yeah, I'll click on OK. Let us run our automation and see if we'll add a new client to our Monday.com CRM and send them a confirmation email. I'm not going to fill in our form again, but instead, I'm going to choose our previous form submission. I'm going to choose where to start, and we can choose from our previous form submission, which is this one, and click on OK. To add our client to Monday and send them a confirmation email, I'll run our automation. So here, you can see that we got the data of Joe Hendricks, added him to our Monday.com CRM, and we sent him this confirmation email right here with the subject line, thank you for filling out our form. Now, when I go to Monday.com, you'll see we have a new client that we just added over here. Now, with this automation, we have automated the first process of a photography business. We have also sent them the confirmation email. After adding our leads to Monday and sending them a confirmation email, the next automation that we're going to set up is an automation that sends an email reminder before the scheduled meeting. So on our folder, I'll create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to send email reminder before a scheduled meeting. So here, you can either choose to use Calendly if they schedule an event via Calendly, or you can use a Google Calendar if they scheduled an event via a Google Calendar. So let me show you for a Google Calendar. So I'm going to search for Google Calendar. And then here, I'll watch an event. You can do the same for Calendly. Just watch an event via Calendly. And then for the calendar, I'm going to choose my primary calendar. I'm going to watch event by created date. And here you can add a query. For example, let's say the query was a Lux photography. This is the name on our discovery call. So here, I can limit it to 1. Then click on OK. See, we're getting our event over here. If they schedule a meeting with us, we're going to send them an email reminder 1 day before the call. So here, I'll add another module and click on email. On email, I'll click on send. For the email, here, we'll add the email address. So our client will be the creator of the event since they're the one who created the event. So we'll add the email address right here. The subject line will be in the lines of reminder, your upcoming photography consultation. Then the content of the email could be in the lines of hi, first name. You can say the display name. Just a friendly reminder about our upcoming meeting scheduled for. Then here you can add the start date, which will end at. Then here you can add the end date over here. We're excited to discuss your photography needs, explore how Lux Photography can bring your vision to life. If anything changes or you need to reschedule, feel free to let us know. We'll be ready to answer any questions and help plan the perfect session for you. Looking forward to connecting. Brandon at Lux Photography. Then click on OK. So this is the email that we're going to send our client. Now, to send this email one day before the call, we can set up a filter. Here we can say we would like to wait one day. We can say the date should equal to our days, and then here you can say now. Then we can add one day, and then click on OK. So here we're going to wait one day to send our email. You can choose to start from all, then click on OK. Automation, I'll choose to start from all, then click on OK and run it. You can see we're getting our event right here. After one day, we are going to send our client this email reminder for our meeting. So with these two automations right here, we have automated the first process of the photography business. The second process that we're going to automate is the client onboarding process, where we're going to set up an automation that sends both a proposal and a contract to our client via email. We're also going to set up an automatic invoicing system after the contract has been signed. On our folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to client onboarding system. The first automation that we're going to set up is the automation that sends a proposal and a contract to our client. I like this automation to be triggered after our status changes on Monday. So if our status changes to send proposal, I'd like to trigger a webhook over here. So here, I'll click on webhooks, then click on custom webhooks. I'll click on add to add a new webhook. I'll rename our webhook to proposal and contract to webhook. Then click on save. I'll copy the link of this webhook and click on OK. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. I'll click on webhooks. I like to send a webhook when our status changes to something, so I'll use this as our template. And then here, I'll choose another account, add the link that we just copied over here. On make, I will run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. Here it says fail to communicate with the URL provided. So we'll need to verify our URL by connecting a webhook response. So on webhook, search for webhook response. Then here we return this challenge text right here. Two curly braces, and then here you can add challenge. So here add this challenge right here, and then click on OK. So if I run this automation again, and on Monday click on connect, you can see here it ran successfully. Now we can delete the response since we no longer need it. So here we can set up a webhook. So we'd like to send a webhook when status changes to send proposal. And then click on create automation. Here's our webhook. I'll run our webhook and then change the status of one of our clients to send proposal. You can see it's running perfectly, and we are getting the specific client whose status we just changed. So here I'll copy the pulse ID, and then on Monday I'm going to search for get an item, so we can get all their details. You can see over here we're now getting the details like email, phone number, company they work in. Now to get their details, I'm going to get an item on Monday. I'll choose our connection, and then for the ID I'm going to choose pulse ID as our ID. And then for the board ID, I'm going to choose clients as our board ID, then click on OK. Now I'll run this module by pasting the pulse ID that we just copied from here, then click on OK. Now you can see that we are getting all the data right here. Like for example, we're getting the first name, last name, company name, email, and phone number. I'm going to generate a proposal and a contract using Panadoc. So on Panadoc, I've created a photography proposal and a photography service contract. So this is a photography proposal that I created from Panadoc. Now we're going to send our client. It's a 9-page proposal, and here's where they're going to add the signatures. To get this proposal on automation, I'll search for Panadoc. Then click on Panadoc and then click on get a document. To get the document ID on our photography proposal, on the URL, you'll see the last unique ID after documents. So copy it, paste the ID right here, then click on OK. And let us see if we're going to get our proposal. So I'll run this module. And you can see right here, we're getting our photography proposal. Now, I'll add another module on Panadoc and download our document. Here I'm going to add the document ID, which is this document ID right here, and click on OK. Now here we are getting our proposal, so we can rename this to get proposal. Then click on OK, and then here we're downloading the proposal. So we'll rename it to download proposal. Then click on OK. After getting the proposal and downloading our proposal, I'll get the contract. On PandaDoc, I've created the photography service contract right here. We're going to send it to Kim. So this is a contract that we're going to send to Kim. On automation, I'll get now the contract. Here we got the proposal. I'll search for PandaDoc, then click on get a document. And for the document ID, back to our template, and then on the URL, I'll copy the last part of a URL, and it's the one that I'm going to add right here, and then click on OK. So if I run this module, here you can see we're getting our photography service contract. Now, still, like we did previously, I'm going to download our contract. Then here I'll add the ID. So our ID will be for the photography service contract. So I'll add this ID right here. Then click on OK. The last thing that I'm going to do here is I'll send both the proposal and the contract to our client. But before that, I'll rename this to get contract. And this one I'll rename it to download contract. And then click on OK. And now we can send both the proposal and the contract to our client. So on emails, I'll click on send an email. I'll rename this send proposal and contract. Then click on OK. For the email, here I'll add the email address. The email address, we're going to get it from is our Monday module right here. The subject line could be in the lines of proposal and contract for your photography session. And then the content of the email could be in the lines of hi, first name. So the name, we're going to get it from Monday. Can I the first name right here? I hope you're doing well. Attached, you'll find the links to both the proposal and the contract for your upcoming photography session. And here we're going to add the link of the proposal. So for the proposal, we're going to add the file name of the proposal right here. For the contract, we're going to add it right here. The proposal outlines all the details we discussed, including services, pricing, and timelines. Please review the contract at your convenience. And once you're ready, you can sign it online directly through the link. If you have any questions or need adjustments, feel free to reach out. We're excited to work with you and capture these special moments. Best regards, Brandon. So this could be the email that we are sending them as we send the proposal and the contract to our client. Then click on OK. Now to test our automation, I'll click on run. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to send proposal. We triggered our webhook by changing the status of one of our clients to send proposal. Got the details of the client whose status we changed. Then here we got the proposal template that we created on PandaDoc. We downloaded it, and we also got the contract from the template that we created from PandaDoc. We also downloaded it. And here we're sending them the proposal and contract via this email right here. And this is the email that we are sending our client. So the link to the proposal and the contract. The subject line of the email is on the lines of proposal and contract for your photography session. With this simple automation right here, we've automated the proposal and contract management. Now let us set up an invoicing and payment automation. On our folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our new scenario to client onboarding system, invoicing and payment automation. I'd like to trigger this automation by setting up a webhook that is triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to send invoice. So here, I'll search for webhooks and then click on custom webhook. Here, I'll rename our webhook to invoicing and payment. And then click on save. Then here, I'll copy the link to this webhook and click on OK. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. And then click on webhooks. And then here, I like to send a webhook when our status changes to something. So I'll use that as our template. Here, I'll choose another account and paste the link that we just copied right here. On Make, I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on Connect. You can see here it says fail to communicate with the URL provided. So here we'll need to return this challenge text. I'll search for webhooks, then click on webhook response. Here, I'll add two curly braces. And then here I'll write challenge. I'll return these challenge tags right here and click on OK. And then run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on Connect. Here you can see it ran successfully. You can remove the response, it's no longer needed. And then set up our webhook. We like to send our webhook when the status changes to send invoice. And then click on Create Automation. I'll run our webhook to test if it's working perfectly. So I'll change the status of one of our clients to send invoice. You can see it's working perfectly, and we're getting the name of our client that we changed their status. But we're now getting Melanie's enter information like email, phone number, and their first and last name. Now to get their full data, on Monday, I'll search for Get an Item module. Then click on Get an Item, choose the right connection. And then for the ID, I'm going to add our Pulse ID. For the board ID, our board ID is clients. Then click on OK. Now here, I'll copy our Pulse ID and then run this automation by pasting our Pulse ID and clicking on OK. And now you can see that we're getting the data right here. So we're also getting the like the phone number, email, first and last name, and company they work in. I'm going to use Stripe as our payment provider. So I'll search for Stripe. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to search for our customer. So I'll click on Search Customer module. And here, I'm going to search via their email right here. And then for the limit, you can limit it to 1 instead of 100. And then click on OK. Now, we are searching for the customer, assuming that you created a customer on Stripe. So if you do not have the customer on Stripe, you can start by creating the customer and then search for the customer. And then now the next thing I'll do is I'll create a payment intent for this specific customer. For the amount, we're going to add the fees for our services. So in this case, say we're charging $2,000. Now, notice that the number that you add right here is in cents. So you'll need to add 2 extra zeros to convert the cents to dollars. Convert these to dollars, I'll need to add 2 extra zeros. Now this is $2,000. The currency is USD, so here we'll add USD. Description, you can say photography services. The recipient email, we can add the email right here. You can also add the customer ID, the payment method, and all these other details right here. And then click on OK. After creating the payment intent, we're going to send them an invoice. I'll search for invoice, then click on create an invoice. To create our invoice here, I'll search for customer ID. The customer ID, we're going to get it from the search customer module right here. Then for the collection method, we'd like to send them an invoice. You can say days until due, you can say 2 or 3 days. You can also add the due date. The description, you can say photography services. You can also add the subscription ID if you have one, but I'm just going to choose to leave it as is and then click on OK. Now we can send our client the invoice via email. So here, I'll search for email, then click on send an email. I can rename this email to send invoice email, then click on OK. So for email address, I can add the email address from Monday. So this will be our email. And the subject line could be in the lines of invoice for your upcoming photography session. And then here we're saying hi, first name. We're going to add the first name right here. As we prepare for your upcoming photography session, I wanted to share the invoice with you. You can view and pay directly through the following link. Then you can add the invoice right here. So the invoice, we're getting it from the create an invoice module. I can choose to send the invoice as a URL or as a PDF. I'm going to choose to send it via URL. And the rest of the email could be on the lines of, if you have any questions or need any adjustments, please do not hesitate to reach out. We are looking forward to capturing your special moments. Thank you for choosing Lax Photography. Best regards, Brandon. Then click on OK. So second part of this automation, we like to automate payment reminders for deposit and or final payments. So on automation, we can set up an email reminder if they haven't paid the invoice yet. So on Stripe, I'll search for invoice, then click on search invoice module. Here we'll add our customer ID from our search customer module. You can add the subscription ID if you have one. The status would like for an open invoice, and then for the collection method, you can say send invoice, and then limit it to 1. Then click on OK. Now we can choose to send an email reminder if they have an outstanding amount. So here I'll click on email, then click on send an email module. I'll rename this to send email reminder. Then click on OK. For email address, we can add the email address of our client right here. So you can add the email address right here. And then the subject line could be in the lines of friendly reminder, invoice due for your photography session. Then here we can say hi, first name. I wanted to follow up regarding the invoice for your upcoming photography session that was sent 3 days ago. If you haven't had a chance to review it yet, you can view and pay through the link below. Then here we are adding the invoice link. I'll go to our search invoice module, and we can add our invoice URL right here. If you have any questions or if there's anything I can assist you with, please feel free to reach out. We're excited to work with you soon. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Best regards, Brandon. So this could be the email that we are sending to our client, reminding them of the outstanding amount that they haven't paid yet. Now, to ensure that these two emails are not being sent at the same time, we can choose to send this email reminder 3 days after the invoice email was sent to our client. Now, to set up a filter, here, I'll click on set up a filter. Now, for our client to receive this email, they have to have an outstanding amount that they haven't paid yet, and we'll also want to send this email 3 days later. So here, I'll click on set up a filter and label it as payment reminder. Then the first condition would like for the amount due to exist. And we can also add another condition where we're saying the date should be 3 days later. On date and time, I'll click on add days. Then here, I'll add now. Then the number of days I'll add 3 is the number of days they would like to wait. Then click on OK. To test our automation, I will click on run once. Then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to send invoice. You can see right here, we triggered our webhook by changing the status of one of our clients to send invoice, and we got their data right here. We searched for a customer on Stripe, then we went ahead to create a payment intake for them, and then we also created an invoice that we are sending to our client through this email. And then now here, we're going to wait for 3 days. The invoice is still open and they will not have made the payments. We are sending them this email reminder right here for them to complete the payments. With these two automations, we are automating the client onboarding process for a photography business, where we are automating the proposal and contract generation and invoicing and payment processes. Now, the next process that we're going to automate is the pre-shoot planning process. On our photography business automation system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to pre-shoot planning and session booking. So here, I'll click on webhooks and then click on custom webhook. So I'd like to trigger this automation if we change one of our clients' status to pre-shoot planning. To create our webhook, I'll click on add. Then here, I'll rename my webhook to pre-shoot planning. Then click on save. I'll copy the address to clipboard and then click on OK. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. Here, I'll click on webhooks. And then click on when a status changes to something, send a webhook. And then here, I'll use another account and then paste our link right here. I'll run it. Monday, I'll click on connect. It says fail to communicate with the URL provided. So yeah, we'll need to return this challenge response. So on webhooks, I'll click on webhook response and we'll try to return this challenge text. So here, I'll add 2 curly braces, then semicolon. Then here, I'll write challenge. Here are these challenge right here and click on OK. Then I'll run a webhook. Then here on Monday, I'll click on connect. So you can see here it ran successfully, so I can delete the response. And then on Monday, I like to send a webhook when our status changes to pre-shoot planning, and then click on create automation. Now, to test if our webhook is working perfectly, I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to pre-shoot planning. Here, you can see we're getting the specific client whose status we changed to pre-shoot planning. I'll copy the pulse ID, and then to get all their data from Monday, I'll search for get an item, and then click on get an item module. For the ID, I'll add the pulse ID right here. And then for the board ID, I'm going to choose clients, then click on OK. Now to run this module, I'll add the pulse ID over here and click on OK. And I can see we're getting all the details of Melanie, including her email and phone number. For our pre-shoot planning process, we are sending them an automated pre-shoot questionnaire via email that we created from Typeform. We're also asking them to book a Calendly session. So on Monday, the first thing I'll do is I'll search for Calendly and click on Calendly. Then here, I'll create a scheduling link. Our maximum event count, we can say 1. Then for event type, we can say strategy session or photography session. Then click on OK. On Typeform, I've created a pre-shoot questionnaire form. The first question that we're asking our client is, what type of session are you booking? So do they want a wedding, an event, family portrait, headshot, or engagement session? And then the second question that we're asking them is, what is the date and location of the session? And you can type in the answer over here. The third question we're asking them is, are there any specific shots or moments you want to make sure we capture? Then they're writing the response over here. The fourth question that we're asking our client is, do you have a particular mood or tone you'd like to convey in their photos? And then we're giving them 4 options over here. The first one is fun, romantic, professional, or dramatic. The fifth question that we're asking them is, what's the most important aspect of the session for you? And then we're giving them 3 options. The first one is certain poses, group shots. Lastly, we're asking them, what are you planning to do with the final photos? And then they can either choose prints, albums, social media, or post on their website. So this is a pre-shoot questionnaire form that we're going to attach with this scheduling link and send it to our client via email. So here on email, I'll click on send an email. I'll rename this email to session booking email. And then click on OK. And then for the email address, we're going to add the email address right here. This is the email address of our client. And then the subject line could be in the lines of pre-shoot questionnaire and session booking. Then the content of the email could be in the lines of hi, first name. Then here we'll add the first name. And then the rest of the email is on the lines of, I hope you're doing well and excited about your upcoming photography session with Lax Photography. To help us prepare and ensure we capture everything you envision, please fill out our pre-shoot questionnaire by clicking the link below. Then here, we're going to add the link to our pre-shoot questionnaire form. To get the link, click on share. And here, copy the link and then paste the link over here. So this will be the pre-shoot questionnaire link. The rest of the email could be in the lines of, once you've completed the form, kindly use the link below to schedule the session at a time that's convenient for you. And then here we are adding the Calendly booking link. So here, I'll add the booking URL so they can book the photography session on our calendar. If you have any questions or need assistance, feel free to reach out. We can't wait to make your session unforgettable. Then best regards, Brandon. Then click on OK. With this simple automation, we are automating the pre-shoot planning and the session booking process for a photography business. To test if automation is working perfectly, I'll click on Run Once. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to pre-shoot planning. So you can see that automation ran successfully. We triggered it after we changed one of our clients' status to pre-shoot planning. Then we got their data right here. We created a scheduling link. And then we send them the scheduling link and the questionnaire form for them to fill in the details via email. This is the content of the email that we are sending our clients right here. So we are sending them the link to the questionnaire and also sending them the Calendly booking link via this email right here. So with this simple automation, we've automated the pre-shoot planning process for photography business. The next process that we're going to automate is a photography session reminders process. On our photography business automation system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename the scenario to photography session reminders. Here, I'll create a webhook that is triggered after the status of one of our clients is changed to session reminder. I'll click on webhook, then click on custom webhook. I'll click on add. I'll rename the webhook to photography session reminder and then click on save. Here, I'll copy the link and then click on OK. And then I'll go back to Monday and then click on integrate and then click on webhooks. Then I'd like to send a webhook when a status changes to something. So I'll use this as our template. And then click on use another account and then paste the link over here. And then now here, I'll run our webhook and then click on connect on Monday. You can see it says fail to communicate with the URL provider. So we'll need to connect the URL using this webhook response. So on webhook, click on webhook response, then we can return this challenge text over here. So here I'll write challenge and then return this challenge next over here. And then click on OK. So I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that it ran successfully. You can remove the responses we no longer need it. And here we can set up our webhook. So we'd like to send our webhook when the status changes to session reminder. Then click on create automation. Here we can test our webhook if it's working perfectly. So I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to session reminder. You can see that it ran successfully and we're getting the name of the client whose status we just changed. But we're not getting most of their data, we're only getting their name. So to get the data from Monday, I'll search for get an item module and then click on get an item. On Monday, the ID will be the pulse ID. And then for the board ID, I'll select client as our board ID and click on OK. Now here, I'll copy the pulse ID and then run our module by pasting our pulse ID right here and clicking on OK. Now you can see right here that we're getting all the details right here, including the first and last name, company they work in, email, and phone number. Now, since we're sending session reminders, we can remind our client of the photography session via email. So here on email, I'll click on send an email module. Can rename this email to email reminder and then click on OK. Now the email address, we're going to add the email address right here. And then the subject line could be in the lines of reminder, your upcoming photography session with Lux Photography. And then the content of the email can say hi, first name. I wanted to send a quick reminder about your upcoming photography session with Lux Photography. We're looking forward to capturing beautiful moments with you and ensuring that everything goes smoothly. Here are a few things to keep in mind. So arrival time, please plan to arrive a few minutes earlier to settle in and go over the final details, outfit and props, location, ideas and inspiration. We're adding all these details to this email right here. And then we can conclude the email by saying, we can't wait to work with you and create something truly special. If you have any questions, or need to make any adjustments before the session, just let us know. Otherwise, we'll see you soon. Best regards, Brandon. And then click on OK. Now, besides sending the email reminder, we can also send an SMS reminder. Now, for the SMS reminder, I'm going to use Twilio. And then on Twilio, I'm going to click on create a message. You'll need to create a connection between Twilio and make.com. To create a connection between Twilio and Make, you need this SID and authentication token, which you'll get after you've created your account on Twilio. Now, we would like to send a message from a phone number. And after creating an account, Twilio will provide you with a phone number. And then here, we can add the phone number of the client. So we can send them the message. For the message body, we can use a template or create a body. So here you can write the message that you'd like to send to our client. For the message, you can say hi, first name. Just a quick reminder about your upcoming session. If you have any questions or need to make adjustments, feel free to reach out. Looking forward to capturing some amazing moments with you. So this could be the simple message that we are sending our client 1 or 2 days before the photography session. So here I'll click on OK and rename this to SMS reminder. And then click on OK. So here we can set up a filter and say we like to wait 1 or 2 days. And then here we can say the date should be equal to a days and then say now. Then we can say we'd like to wait for 1 day, and then click on OK. So this is a simple automation that we are setting up to automate the photography session reminder process for a photography business. To test our automation, I'll click on run once, and then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to session reminder. You can see that it ran successfully. It triggered a webhook after we changed the status of one of our clients to session reminder. And then we are getting the details right here. And then we're going ahead and sending them the email reminder of the photography session. And this is the email that we are sending to our client right here. And now after 1 day, this automation will send an SMS reminder to our client, reminding them of the photography session. The next process that we can automate is the proofing and delivery process. Here, we're going to send emails that notify clients when their gallery is ready. We're also going to send a follow-up email reminding them to download the images or order prints. On our photography business automation system folder, I'll create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to proofing and delivery. And I'd like to trigger our automation by setting up a webhook that is going to be triggered after we change one of our clients' status to proofing and delivery. So here I'm going to search for webhook and click on webhooks. And here I'm going to click on custom webhook. Then click on add. Then I'm going to create and rename our webhook. And I'll rename it to proofing and delivery webhook. Then click on save. I'll copy the link of the webhook and click on OK. I'll click on integrate. And then over here, I'll click on webhooks. So we'd like to send our webhook after the status changes to something. So I'm going to use this as our template. Then here I'll use another account and paste the link that we just copied. And then on automation, I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll try to connect. You can see it's saying fail to communicate with URL provided. We'll need to connect the URL by connecting a webhook response. So on webhooks, I'll click on webhook response. And then here, I'll return this challenge text. Then click on OK. And then now I'll run our webhook again. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. And you can see that it ran successfully. So here we can remove the webhook response since we no longer need it. And then on Monday, we're going to send our webhook when the status changes to proofing and delivery. Then click on create automation. To test if our webhook is working perfectly, I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to proofing and delivery. So here, I'll change the status to proofing and delivery. You can see over here it ran successfully. And we are getting the specific client whose status we changed. So here, I'll copy the pulse ID. And then you can see we're not getting the details over here, like email, phone number, their first and last name. So to get their details, on Monday, I'll search for get an item module and click on get an item module. So for the ID, we're going to add the pulse ID. Our board ID is going to be client. Then click on OK. I'm going to run this module by pasting the pulse ID that we just copied over here. Here, and then clicking on OK. And you can see now we're able to get the details here. So we're getting the first name, last name, company name, email, and phone number. Okay, so the automation that we're going to set up, we're going to automate the process of sending emails to our clients and notifying them that their gallery is ready. We're also going to send follow-up emails to remind them to download the images or the order prints. So back to our automation. Here, I'll search for Google Drive. Then on Google Drive, I'm going to search for files and folders. You can see on my Google Drive, I have a folder called Gallery, and I have this example image on my folder. So this is an example image that we can source from Gallery on my Google Drive folder. I'll choose our folder. Now in our case, we're sourcing the image from the Gallery folder. Then we're going to retrieve files and folders. Okay. And then we're going to search either within file and folder names, or we're going to perform a full text search, or we're going to enter custom search query. So here I'm going to choose full text search, and then we can source our image just by its name. So here I can write the name of our image, which is images. So I'll write images and then limit it to 1 instead of 10 and click on OK. So when we run this module, you can see that we are getting our image over here. We can rename this module to get images. Then click on OK. Now with our image from our Google Drive, we can create a shareable link that we can send to our clients via email. So on Drive, I'll click on Get a Share Link. Here, our file ID will be the file ID from this module. The role, you can either say owner, writer, commenter, or reader. So I'm going to choose reader. And the type, we can say anyone with a link. And click on OK. And we can rename this module to link, images link. And click on OK. With the image link over here, we can write an email and send it to our clients, notifying them to download their images since their gallery is ready. So here I'll search for email and then click on send an email module. And now for our email address, we're going to add our email address from Monday. So we're going to source the email address over here. So this will be the email address. The subject line could be on the lines of your Lux photography gallery is ready. And then the content of the email, we can say hi, first name. So here I'm going to add first name. And then the rest of the email could be on the lines of great news. Your photo gallery from our recent session is ready, and we are thrilled to share the final images with you. You can access your gallery through the link below. So here, we'll attach the link that we created on this module right here. So for the gallery link, I'll add the share link that we created over here. And then the rest of the email could be on the lines of feel free to browse through your photos and download your favorite. If you'd like to order prints or need any adjustments, do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to help and make sure everything is perfect. Thank you again for choosing Lux Photography. We hope you love the results as much as we enjoyed capturing them. Best regards, Brandon. And then click on OK. So this could be the email that we are sending our clients, notifying them that the images are ready. And we're also sharing the link that they can use to download the images. The second part of automation is the sending of the follow-up emails, where we like to remind them to download the images. So we can send these emails 3 days later. We can also clone this email, the one that we just set up, and just change the subject line and the content of the email. The email address, we're still going to add the email address from our CRM right here. And then the subject line could be in the lines of friendly reminder. Do not forget to download your photos. The content could be in the lines of hi first name. You can add their first name over here. And the email could be in the lines of just a quick reminder that your photo gallery from our session is still available for download. If you haven't had a chance, you can access your images right here. And then we are adding the gallery link. Gallery link will be the link that we created from our images link module. So here I'll add the share link. And then the rest of the email could be in the lines of feel free to download your favorites and let us know if you'd like to order any prints or albums. We are happy to help with any customization to make sure your memories are preserved just the way you want them. If you have any questions or need assistance, do not hesitate to reach out. We're here to help. Best regards, Brandon. And then click on OK. We can rename this to notification email. And then click on OK. And this will be the follow-up email. Now to prevent these emails from being sent at the same time, we're going to set up a filter. And we can send this email maybe 3 days later. So we'll label it wait 3 days. Then the condition, we can say date. Date should equal to, and then here we can add days. And then we can add now from the time the webhook was triggered. Then we can add 3 days. Then click on OK. To test automation and see if it's working properly, I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to proofing and delivery. And you can see it triggered our webhook right here after we changed the status of one of our clients. And then we got their data. We went ahead and searched for the images in our gallery from our Google Drive folder. And then we created a link for the images. And then we sent the images for them to download via this email right here. And this is the content of the email. So you can see we're even providing the gallery link, which is this link over here. We're going to wait 3 more days. If they still wouldn't have opened their gallery, we're going to remind them to open their gallery right here and download their images using this follow-up email right here. So this is a simple automation that automates the proofing and delivery for photography business using make.com. The other automation we're going to set up is the client feedback and review process, where here we're going to send an email asking the client for feedback by filling in a survey form. Business automation system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to client feedback and reviews. Then we're going to trigger our automation by creating a webhook that is going to be triggered after we change the status of one of our clients to client feedback. So here, I'll search for webhooks and then click on custom webhook. And then on webhook, I'll click on add. Then here I'll create a webhook and rename it to client feedback. Then click on save. So it creates our webhook. Now here I'll copy the link of the webhook, then click on OK. Then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. Then here I'll click on webhooks. We like to send a webhook when the status changes to something, so I'll use this as a template. And then here I'll choose another account, and here I'll paste the URL that we just copied from Make. Then on Make, I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see it says fail to communicate with the URL provided. So we'll need to connect the URL using a webhook response. So on webhook, I'll click on webhook response. We're going to return these challenge text over here. So here, I'll add two curly braces. And write challenge and then return this challenge over here and click on OK. So now I'll run, and then on Monday, I'll click on connect. It ran successfully. So here I'll delete the responses we no longer need it. And then on Monday, I'd like to send our webhook when the status changes to client feedback. Then click on create automation. And now to test our webhook if it's working properly, I'll run it. Then I'll change the status of one of our clients to client feedback. You can see it ran successfully, and we are getting the data of the specific client whose status we just changed. So here I'll copy the pulse ID. Now to get all their data from Monday, I'll search for get an item and click on get an item. Choose the right connection, and then for the ID, I'm going to add the pulse ID as our ID. And then for the board ID, the board ID is going to be clients, and then click on OK. Now I'll run this module by pasting the pulse ID that we just copied from here, and then click on OK. Now you can see we're getting their details over here, like first name, last name, company name, email, and their phone number. Now we can send them an email requesting them to fill in a survey form to get their feedback. So here, I'll search for email and then click on send an email. I'll rename this email to client feedback email. And then click on OK. Now for the email address, we're going to get our email address from Monday. So on email, I'll click on email. In the subject line, could be in the lines of, we'd love your feedback on your lax photography experience. And then the content of the email could be in the lines of, hi, first name. So the first name is we're getting from Monday. And then here we're saying, it was a pleasure working with you on your recent photography session, and we'd love to hear your thoughts. To help us continue delivering the best experience possible, could you take a few minutes to fill out this short survey? Your feedback is incredibly valuable to us. And then here we're going to add the survey form link. So on type form, I've created a survey form and renamed it to Photography Clients Feedback Survey. Now the first question that we're asking them is, how satisfied are you with our services? And then they can rate us from 0 to 10. The second question we're asking them is, how likely are you to recommend our services to others? And then they can rate us from 0 to 10. The third question we're asking them is, how well did we communicate throughout the project? And then they can type the answer over here. The fourth question that we're asking them is there anything else you would like to share about your experience with our services? And they're going to type the answer over here. And then the last question that we're asking them is, do you have any suggestion for improving our services? And then they can type their answer over here. So to get the link to this form, I'll click on share. And then here, I'll copy the link of this survey form. I'll paste the link of the form. So this is a survey form link. And then the rest of the email could be in the lines of, thank you so much for choosing Lax Photography. We look forward to hearing your thoughts. And if there is anything else we can assist you with, please do not hesitate to reach out. Best regards, Brandon. Then click on OK. Now I've automated our client feedback process. To test if this automation works perfectly, I'll run it. Then back to Monday, I'll change one of our client status to client feedback. You can see that it ran successfully. Here, we triggered our webhook by changing the status to client feedback. And then we got the data of the client whose status we just changed. And then with the data, we are sending the client this client feedback email over here. And then this is the content of the email that we are sending to our client here, including the link to the survey form so they can fill in the survey. So with this simple automation, we've automated client feedback process for a photography business. Now the next process that we're going to automate is the referral program process, where we're going to set up an automation that sends automated follow-up emails with referral incentives. On our photography business automation system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario. I'll rename our scenario to referral program automation. Now here, I'll create a webhook that is triggered after the status of one of our clients changes to referral program. So here, I'll search for webhooks, then click on custom webhook. I'll click on add to create a new webhook, and I'll rename it to, and then click on save. Then I'll copy the link of this webhook over here. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. And then click on webhooks. Then here, I like to send a webhook when the status changes to something. So I'll use this as our template. Here, I'm going to choose another account and then paste the link that we just copied right here. Now, I'll run our webhook. Then on Monday, I'll click on connect. Here it says fail to communicate with the URL provided, so I'll have to connect the URL manually. Here, I'll search for webhook, then webhook response. And here, I'll return this challenge text. And then return this challenge response. And then click on OK. Now, I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see that it ran successfully. Now, you can delete the webhook response, so we no longer need it. And then on Monday, we can set up our webhook. So I like to send a webhook when the status of one of our clients changes to referral program. And then click on create automation. Now to test if the webhook works perfectly, I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to referral program. And you can see that our webhook is working perfectly, and we're getting the specific client whose status we just changed. Now here, I'll copy the pulse ID to try and get more data from this client, since the only thing we're getting is their name and their column title. Now to get more data of this client on Monday, I'll search for get an item. Then click on get an item module. I'll choose the right connection. And then for the ID, we're going to add the pulse ID right here. And for the board ID, we're going to select client and then click on OK. Now I'll run this module by pasting the pulse ID that we just copied from the webhook, and then click on OK. And you can see that we're getting more of their data right here. So we're getting their first name, last name, company they work in, their email, and their phone number right here. Now we can send them a referral program email with a referral incentive. So here, I'll search for email and then click on send an email. And then I'll rename this email to referral program email. And then click on OK. For the email address, we're going to add the email address from Monday. So we're going to source the email from here. And then the subject line could be in the lines of earn rewards by referring friends to Lux Photography. And then the content of the email could be in the lines of hi, first name. And the first name is right here. And the content of the email could be in the lines of I hope you're doing well and enjoying your photos. I wanted to let you know about a special opportunity to earn rewards through our referral program. If you've enjoyed working with Lux Photography, we'd love for you to share your experience with friends and family. For every person you refer who books a session with us, you'll receive, and then we can add an incentive right here, for example, a discount in your next session, or maybe free prints. And then we can go ahead and outline how the referral program works. And we can say, share Lux Photography with your friends and family. If they book a session and mention your name, you will receive, and then we can add the incentive over here. And then 3, enjoy your reward and let us know how we can assist you with your next session. Then we can conclude the email by saying, thank you for trusting us with your photography needs. Your referral means the world to us and helps us grow our business. Feel free to reach out with any questions, and we look forward to working with you again. So, best regards, Brandon. And then click on OK. So this could be the referral program email that we're sending our clients, asking them for a referral. Now, to test if the automation works perfectly, I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to referral program. You can see that we triggered our webhook by changing the status of one of our clients to referral program. And we went ahead and got their details right here from Monday, including the email, their phone number, their first and last name, and the company they work in. And then we're using the details right here from Monday to send them this referral program email right here. And this is the email that we are sending to our client over here, asking them to refer our business to their friends and families. So with this simple automation, we have automated the referral program for our photography business. Last automation that we're going to set up is an automation that automates the upselling process. We're going to set up an automation that sends automated follow-up emails, upselling, prints, albums, or extra editing services. On our photography business automation system folder, I'll click on create a new scenario, rename our scenario to upselling automation. And like we did previously with the referral program automation, we would like to trigger our automation by setting up a webhook right here that is triggered after we change the status of one of our clients to upsell. So here, I'll search for webhooks, then click on custom webhook. Then here I'll click on add to create a webhook, and I'll rename it to upselling webhook and click on save. Then here I'll copy this link and click on OK. And then on Monday, I'll click on integrate. Then I'll click on webhooks. Then I like to send a webhook when the status changes to something, so I'll use these as our template. And then here I'll choose another account and paste the link that we just copied right here. And on automation, I'll run our webhook. And then on Monday, I'll click on connect. You can see it's saying fail to communicate with the URL provided. So here, I'll return this challenge text using a webhook response. So on webhook, I'll click on webhook response. And here I'll try to return the webhook response. So yeah, I'll return this challenge text over here, and then click on OK. Now I'll run the webhook, and then on Monday I'll click on connect. So our link was successfully connected, so I'll delete the response since we no longer need it. And then set up our webhook. So we like to send our webhook when the status changes to upsell. And then here I'll click on create an automation. To test our webhook, if it's working, I'll run it. And then here I'll change the status of one of our clients to upsell. And you can see right here, we're getting the specific client whose status we changed to upsell. Now, let us get their info so we can send them an upsell email. So on Monday, I'll search for get an item, then click on get an item module. I'll choose the right connection, and then here, I'll add the post ID since it's the ID. And then for the board ID, I'll add clients as our board ID, then click on OK. Yeah, I'll copy the pulse ID over here, and then run this module by pasting the pulse ID that we just copied right here, and then clicking on OK. And now you can see that we're getting their data right here, like their first name, last name, company name, email, and phone number. With their name and email, we can proceed to send them an upsell email. Here I'll search for email, then click on send an email. I'll rename this email to upsell email, and then click on OK. The email address, we're going to have the email address from Monday. So this will be the email address that we are sourcing from our CRM. So now, and the subject line could be the lines of enhance your memories with custom albums and extra editing options. And then the content of the email, you can say hi, first name. You can add the first name right here. I hope you're loving your photos from our recent session. To make your experience even more special, I wanted to let you know about a few ways you can further enhance your memories. And then the first way is custom photo albums. We're asking them to turn their favorite images into a beautifully designed photo album. So we are upselling them on photo albums. We also upselling them on additional editing services. But we're saying if you like any extra editing or touch-ups on specific images, we offer advanced editing options to ensure that your photos look exactly the way you envision. But if you have any more upsells, you can add them to this email. You're concluding the email by saying, if you're interested in creating an album or enhancing any of your photos, feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to provide more details or help you get started. Thank you again for choosing Lux Photography. We are always here to make sure your memories are as perfect as possible. Best regards, Brandon. And then click on OK. Now, to test our automation, I'll run it. And then on Monday, I'll change the status of one of our clients to upsell. You can see that automation ran successfully. Here, we are triggering our webhook after changing one of our clients' status to upsell. Now we're getting that specific client's details from Monday. And then we're using that data to send them this upsell email right here. And this is an email that we are sending our client, upselling them on custom photo albums and additional editing services. That simple automation, we have automated the upselling process for our photography business. These automations right here, we've automated all these processes for our photography business just by setting up these automations on make.com. The first automation, we are adding leads to Monday via a type form. We're also sending them a confirmation email. With the second email, we're sending them an email reminder before the scheduled meeting. The third automation is a client onboarding system where we are sending them both the proposal and the contract for them to sign via this email. For the fourth automation is also a client onboarding system where we're automating the invoicing and the payment process. The fifth automation is a pre-shooting planning and a session booking automation where we are automating the pre-shooting planning and the session booking process. The other automation is the photography session reminder, where with this automation, we are reminding our client of the photography session via email and SMS. And then the other automation is a proofing and delivery automation, where with this automation, we are automating the process of delivering the images to our clients and ensuring that they got their images by sending them a follow-up email. And then with this automation, we're automating the client feedback process, where we are sending the client a feedback email asking them to fill in a survey form and give us a feedback on our services. Then other automation is the referral program automation, where we are automating the process of sending this referral program email to our clients, offering them incentives so they can refer us to their friends or families. And lastly, the last automation that we're setting up is the upselling automation, where we're automating the upselling process for photography business, where we are sending the client this email, upselling them on different products or services that we are offering in our photography business. With all these automations, we have automated the photography business. If you have an automation or a system in mind that you'd like for me to create, just comment down below in the comment section. And if I land on your comment and I find it intriguing, I'll come back on a future video showing you how to set up the entire system or automation from scratch. But for now, thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.